Moving over now to my protective stylists that do not use extensions. Girl, it's not all good for you. Some people think that because they're not adding hair, like extensions to their hair, that they're better, or that they have it better, or their cons are better. Like, you still have disadvantages and advantages to protective styling with your own hair. Protective styles are a tried and tested way to grow natural hair. However, there are some people that think that protective styles are simply not protective. I am not one of those, but let's talk about it. A lot of people say that protective styles are not protective. And when I say protective styles in this context, I mean protective styles with added hair. Weaves, wigs, braids, kinky twists, anything with added hair, okay? Of course, some styles are worse than others, some are better than others, and of course, there are pros and cons to everything, right? There's no one size fits all to anything. Let's unpack it. Let's start with protective styles with extensions, right? Some of the pros of that are that you get to leave your hair for a long time. You get the ability to leave your hair for a long time. No detangling, no dealing with your hair, and that allows for no breakage really, and that obviously allows you to retain length if you know how to take your hair down very well. It stretches your hair. Things like braids, for example, kinky twists, etc., they keep the hair stretched because they actually give the hair, is it tensile strength? Is that what they call it? But you know, supports the hair because it's sort of covers the hair, protective, covers the hair and keeps the hair in that state that it's twisted or braided in. Same thing with weaves. You cover the hair, you cover the ends, they're locked in, they're covered, they're protected, okay? The downside is that, for example, with weaves, if you get a leave out, then you might get heat damage if you're having to straighten the hair to match the other texture of the hair, as in the extension hair. The leave out, if you're not moisturizing, protein treatments, detangling gently, etc., you could actually have a mini setback, okay, with having leave out, particularly with weaves. The possibility of cutting your hair. I have done it before, trying to take out a weave, cut my hair in the process. That is a real possibility. So that's a con of hair extensions. It's harder to take care of your hair, okay, because you're dealing with the extension and your real hair and trying to get your scalp. It's more, you know, challenging. Moisture can be an issue, trying to infuse moisture when you're having to deal with a weft and cotton and getting to your braids in there. So yeah, you could actually endure or suffer dry hair. And of course, the installation and the takedown, if it's not installed well, disaster. If the takedown is messy, disaster. So once again, there are pros and cons to everything. If you're considering a weave, it's a matter of choice. Do you want leave out? Do you not want leave out? If you want leave out, then you understand the possible cons. If you don't want any leave out, then you understand the possible cons, not being able to get to your hair, not being able to have more versatility, I guess, with styling. But again, you get all your hair protected with a weave. So you can choose, do you want a partial protective style or you want a complete protective style? I think any protective style is better than no protective style, right? So some people say, oh, you've got leave out there, so that's not protective. Well, protecting 90% of the hair, isn't that better than nothing? Of course, you know, there are better styles, more protective styles, but it's okay if people want to balance the two between looking really good and feeling good with the style they have on and protecting the majority of their hair or some of their hair. All right, so I've spoken about weaves, braids. The disadvantage of braids, you've got the tension, the heaviness, you know, trying to infuse moisture can be tricky. Washing the hair, hydration can be an issue. So yeah, they also have a disadvantage, but they can keep your hair stretched. They can keep your hair tangle, like reduce the tangles because the hair is stretched, so there's no shed hairs running up and down the shaft. And of course, if you keep them in long enough, you get to reduce manipulation and have a lot of growth or length that you can retain. Okay, so there you have it. Same thing with the twists. They might not last as long. If it's kinky twists, it may be drying to the hair. Washing may be tricky. Infusing moisture may be tricky. Synthetic hair can be drying, but you get the advantage of leaving your hair alone and reducing that breakage. So pick your poison. Crochet. You've got the knot that you have to deal with at the base. The crochet needle, I mean, it looks all right, but I mean, it is putting a bit of pressure there when you open and when it's closed and you have that wide part of the crochet. That can sometimes put a bit of pressure with the hair. Again, crochet can be really tricky to try and get into the real hair at the base, and the takedown can actually be tedious. However, gives you a break. You can have a really cute style on. You can really retain a lot of length if you know how to take down your hair well. And finally, you get wigs. Okay, I'm wearing a wig right now. The disadvantage is that you have to put it on and put it off, on and off, on and off, which I find annoying. If you don't know what you're doing, you could have something really damaging on your edges, like a lace front with glue. But something like a headband wig can really be helpful. Obviously, you're not wearing this every day. I don't wear wigs every day. This is just, you know, something that I'm doing right now for the Protective Style Challenge. But it's not like I'm a wig wearer day in and out all day long. Like, you have to switch it up with wigs, particularly. Like, allow your hair to breathe, allow your scalp to breathe rather, and, you know, just wear your hair once in a while. So yeah, disadvantages, the edges, the drying, you know, neglect. In fact, with all of these protective styles, there's a potential for neglect and drying of the hair. And that's why protective styles get a bad rep. Oh, they're not protective. If you're looking after your hair best you can underneath the protective style, you will much more likely than not get the benefit. Of course, the takedown needs to be on point, all right? So that's protective styles with extensions. Moving over now to my protective stylers that do not use extensions. Girl, it's not all good for you. Some people think that because they're not adding hair, like extensions to their hair, that they're better, or that they have it better, or their cons are better. Like, you still have disadvantages and advantages to protective styling with your own hair. Now, protective style with your own hair, you are safe from plastic, toxins, heat styling most likely. You're protected from friction, heaviness, tension, tricky wash days that can come with added hair. All right, so those are all pros for protective styles with no extensions. But let's take twists for example. Twists don't last that long. Twists tangle up like crazy. Shrinkage, crazy with twists, okay? If you wash your hair in twists, mini twists particularly, can be tedious to try and detangle. Are you getting damage from that detangling and trying to loosen the highly textured shrunken hair and the high amount of frizz in the mini twists? Yeah, you are. So you do get some disadvantage. Of course, the style is not lasting you that long, so you're dealing with your hair a little bit more often than someone that wears extensions, for example. So you still have a disadvantage there. You've got a disadvantage of shed hairs running up and down the shaft, single strand knots at the ends because there's nothing to hold the hair. That might mean you need to trim more often, for example. So there are cons to styling your hair just with your own hair as well. Just pick your poison. Same thing with braids. Yes, they may last longer. They may, you know, have like preserve moisture better, but for most of us, they don't look that great. They make your hair look thin. They're difficult to style. They can be tedious to take down. You can get breakage with taking them down, particularly if it's mini braids. Less tangles than twists. However, yeah, pick your poison. Do you want to look good, or you want to grow your hair in braids, or you want... Sorry guys, my camera just died, so I'm not sure where I ended. I was just talking about braids, but yeah, I don't know how far that video went. Anyway, I was talking about the pros and cons of braids, right? Braids can also have disadvantages. They take longer to install. They take longer to take down. Sometimes the ends can be tricky to braid all the way through. They obviously don't last as long as, say, something with extensions. So yeah, Braids also do have disadvantages. Cornrows, same thing. You do run the risk of, you know, ripping your edges out, simply because it's a style that goes that way. So there's high tension on the edges. No style versatility really. If you're gonna get cornrows, it's just down, out, which is fine. For some people, that's okay. Pick your poison. And again, because you're not using extensions, the style might not last as long. So you'll be handling your hair sooner than someone that, say, for instance, use extensions. Same thing with heat or no heat, right? We speak about heat not being great for your hair long term. However, some people find it useful for managing their hair. So it could work, it might not work. It's just a matter of what sacrifice are you willing to give away. If you choose to use heat on your hair, for example, then just be aware you could get damage, you could get dryness, you get brittleness. However, you might not if you're protein treating and, you know, using really highly hydrating products. That might not be the case, and heat might actually work for you. So particularly for straight naturals, right? For curly naturals, I do encourage no heat because in my experience it hasn't worked. But again, that might be different for you. So heat has advantages and disadvantages. Wash and goes. Yeah, quicker styling because you don't wait for the hair to tangle up on itself. Nice style, looks good. You're wearing your hair in its natural state. What's the other advantage? Fullness, I guess. However, there's a lot of single strand knots that can come with wash and goes. Okay, there's a lot of shrinkage that can come. You have to commit to styling your hair every week or every 10 days. You need a bit of skill actually to do a wash and go, layering the products or using gels, wrecking your hair, shingling. All that requires skill. So what's your sacrifice? What are you willing to do and what are you not willing to do? I love that we have these options because all of us are different. So what works for me might not necessarily work for you. Sounds cliche, but it is true. Twist outs, okay? They've got pros and cons. Twist outs, braid outs, whatever outs, curl formers, flexi rods. Yeah, curly style, cute style, fullness, texture. Great. Doesn't last that long. You'll be in your hair before you know it. You don't have any products, or you might have some defining products, but nothing really that's gonna really stop your hair from getting single strand knots. Yeah, so they're great, but you also have to accept the advantages that the style comes with. So guys, like I said, it all comes back down to which bad are you willing to choose? Which sacrifice are you willing to make? What's your style preference? You know, are you willing to sacrifice time? If you don't want to sacrifice time, then maybe are you patient? So maybe you might do a long term, check your style, then be patient for a short while, taking down, detangling well, and then back into a style, long-term style. Or maybe you're someone that's willing to invest the time every week doing a wash and go, for example. And breakage, which breakage do you want? Do you want the breakage of trying to detangle freshly washed mini twists, or the breakage that can come from a 3-month-old style? Which one do you think you can handle better? Shrinkage, do you want to have to deal with shrinkage, or would you rather not deal with shrinkage at all in the first place? At the end of the day, guys, we are free to choose how we wear, how we style our hair. Enjoy your hair. You can decide, grow your hair out and then enjoy it, or enjoy your hair as you grow it out. Okay, those two options should be available to Black women. Girl, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, it's Coily Diaries. Bye.